Okay, so get this. A time capsule gets dug up back in 2020 at Eastview High School in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pretty typical, right?
Yeah.
Yearbooks and all that.
Right.
But then, among all that stuff,
Oh.
there's this faded note.
Mm-hmm.
And it just says, HLP me.
Wow. It's like finding a message in a bottle.
Right.
But it wasn't tossed out into the ocean. It was sent. Like
Through time.
through time, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
And that's really just the start of this wild story.
Okay.
So the note was in a time capsule that was buried in 1985.
Okay.
So that means whoever wrote this thing, they were really counting on someone finding it decades later. But, why?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, time capsules are usually about, remembering stuff, about connecting to the future.
Right.
But this feels different.
Yeah.
It feels like someone desperately trying to escape.
Yeah.
Escape something bad, something from their past.
Totally. And it gets even weirder because the note goes on to say, I'm trapped. No one believes me. Please find me before it's too late.
Okay.
And the handwriting is messy, all smudged. So you get the feeling that it was written in a hurry.
Yeah. Or maybe even secretly.
Right.
Interesting. Even the wording it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like trapped, right?
Yeah.
That could mean they were literally trapped.
Yeah, physically stuck somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or it could be more of a metaphor, right?
Okay.
Like trapped in a situation they felt, helpless to change.
Right, like a relationship or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And to make this even more bizarre, around the edges of the note, there are these weird symbols.
Really?
Doodled all over. Almost like ancient symbols, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no one has been able to figure out what they mean.
Those symbols, think about it. Those could be a really big clue.
Yeah.
What if there's some sort of guide?
Yeah.
A way for the writer to say something, they couldn't put into words.
Right.
Maybe because they were afraid of being caught.
Right.
Or maybe, what if they thought only a specific person would be able to understand the message?
Wow. Okay, so you can imagine how this discovery kind of shook things up in Eastview.
Right.
They go from celebrating, their school history to dealing with this potential cry for help from the past.
Yeah, that's got to be quite the psychological impact. Right. A time capsule is supposed to be this happy, reminder of the past.
Yeah.
But this one brings up this dark, hidden side of the town's history.
People were freaked out, right?
Absolutely. It reminds you that even in a close community, there can be secrets.
Right.
Things happening that you don't know about.
So what did the police do?
Well, they started with the school records, of course.
Yeah.
Going back to 1985, looking for anything that could relate to the night. They found reports of bullying, rumors of a secret room on campus.
Wait, a secret room?
Yeah.
Sounds like something out of Scooby-Doo.
I know, right? It plays into all those ideas of hidden spaces.
Yeah.
Secrets kept from the public.
Right.
Makes you wonder if the school itself holds clues to this mystery.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting how that one detail, that secret room, captures people's imagination.
Yeah.
And even kind of steers the investigation in a certain way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you think the writer could have been literally trapped somewhere in the school?
It's possible. We have to consider all the possibilities, right?
Right.
But remember, that word trapped could also be metaphorical.
Right, yeah.
What if they felt trapped by their circumstances, by something happening that they couldn't change?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But how do we figure out who actually wrote this note?
Right.
Did they find any fingerprints?
So that's where the forensic analysis comes in.
Right.
They confirmed the ink and paper were from the 1980s.
Okay.
So it basically confirms the note isn't fake.
Right.
But no fingerprints or any other identifying marks.
So whoever wrote it was being super careful not to leave a trace.
That's what it looks like.
Makes you think they were deliberately trying to stay anonymous.
Exactly.
Like they wanted to send a message, but they didn't want to be identified.
Right, suggesting a level of planning there, maybe even fear.
This is getting creepier and creepier. Did anything else weird happen?
Oh, it gets weirder, believe me. Shortly after the news about the time capsule gets out, other mysterious notes start popping up all over Eastview.
Wait, are you serious?
Totally serious.
Oh.
One woman, she says she found a note hidden in a library book.
A library book?
Yeah, old library book. And it had basically the same handwriting as the time capsule note.
Wow.
And it also talked about feeling trapped and unheard.
Okay, now I am getting chills.
Yeah.
So are we talking about multiple people in Eastview feeling trapped?
Yeah.
Or was this just someone copying the time capsule note?
That is exactly what investigators were trying to figure out.
Wow.
Are these separate pleas for help from different people, or is this like a copycat thing fueled by all the attention the time capsule note got?
Talk about a tangled web.
I know, right?
So where did the police go from there?
They started trying to track down anyone who was at Eastview High back in '85.
Makes sense.
Especially students who might have left, under unusual circumstances.
Okay.
They focused on one student, Emily. She left in the middle of the year. But it turns out she was fine. Just transferred to another school.
So a dead end.
At least for now. But even dead ends can tell us something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why did Emily leave? Was she being bullied? Was something going on that made her uncomfortable?
That's true. Every little bit of information could be a clue.
Exactly.
Did they look into anyone else?
Yeah, they also looked into a student named Ben.
Okay.
He'd written a letter that was included in the time capsule.
Okay. What did his letter say?
He talked about feeling trapped, trapped in a small town, no escape.
Right.
The common feeling, especially for teenagers.
Yeah.
But given the context of the other note,
Yeah.
it definitely made them take a closer look.
So both Emily and Ben felt trapped.
Yeah.
But in different ways. Do you think there's a connection, though, between their feelings and this HLP me note?
It's possible,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a specific time and place, right?
Yeah.
A community with its own dynamics and pressures.
Yeah.
Maybe something was happening in Eastview that was contributing to all these feelings of being trapped.
This is all fascinating, but I can't help but feel for whoever wrote that note.
Yeah.
They sound like they were really struggling.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking to think about someone feeling that alone.
Yeah.
And desperate enough to use a time capsule as their only hope.
What about those symbols on the note? Did the police ever figure out what they meant?
That's where things get even more intriguing.
Really?
They brought in linguists, cryptologists, even historians.
Wow.
Trying to decode them. One guy, a cryptologist, even suggested they might be ancient alchemical symbols.
Alchemy? Like turning lead into gold?
Yeah, but alchemy wasn't just about that.
Yes.
It was a whole system of symbolism that dealt with transformation, trying to change your fate.
Okay.
Maybe the writer saw those symbols as a way of representing their own struggle.
Yeah.
Their struggle to escape their situation.
That's pretty deep. Did anyone else have any theories?
Oh, tons of theories, especially when the case caught the attention of those online sleuths.
Yeah, of course.
Some were plausible, others not so much.
Like what? Give me an example.
Some people thought the symbols might be a form of gematria.
Gematria?
Yeah.
What's that?
Basically, it's an ancient practice where you assign numbers to letters to uncover hidden meanings. Others thought they might be a map or a code referencing a specific book or a historical event.
So people thought the writer might have been using gematria to hide a message within the note.
Yeah, it's a long shot. But remember, we are dealing with a mystery here.
Right.
And every little detail could be a clue.
Well, if anyone could crack a code like that, it'd be those online detectives.
Yeah, they definitely brought a lot of attention to the case.
Yeah.
And explored angles that maybe the police hadn't considered.
Okay, my head is spinning with all these theories.
Yeah.
Where does the secret room fit into all of this? Did they ever find it?
Remember that retired custodian?
Yeah.
Who said there was a crawl space under the gym, all sealed off?
Yeah, the one that got everyone's imagination going.
Well, the police investigated, but they didn't find anything.
Oh.
Empty crawl space.
Bummer.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for a secret passageway or something.
I know.
But you know what they say? Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of strange, we haven't even gotten to the local urban legends that started swirling around this case.
Wait, what?
I'm talking ghosts, disappearances, and messages from beyond the grave.
Ghosts. Don't leave me hanging. Tell me more.
We'll dive into all of that in the next part of our deep dive. Trust me, it gets even weirder.
Okay, I can't wait.
So last time, remember.
Yeah.
We were talking about those local urban legends
Right.
surrounding the Eastview time capsule mystery.
Yeah, spill the tea. What kind of spooky stories are we talking about here?
Well, Eastview, it's got this, long-standing legend about the ghost of Hollow Creek.
Okay.
Supposedly, it's this young girl who disappeared back in the 60s.
Okay.
And the story goes that after she vanished, people started finding these notes all over town.
Okay.
Notes she'd supposedly left.
That's chilling. Did the notes sound anything like the time capsule note?
There are some similarities.
Yeah.
Both mention feeling trapped, unheard.
Right.
And in both cases, no one knows who wrote them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's easy to see why people would connect the two.
Yeah, it's like those rumors about the secret room in the school.
Right.
Just plays into our fascination with, like, hidden places, right?
Exactly. Urban legends like this,
Yeah.
they often reflect a community's anxieties, fears about the unknown.
Right.
And in a way, you could say the time capsule kind of unearthed all those fears and brought them,
to the surface.
Yeah, to the surface.
So is there actually any evidence that this ghost of Hollow Creek is real? Or is it just a scary story?
Well, there's no official record of a girl disappearing in the 60s. At least not in any local archives anyway. But those notes, they were supposedly never found. So it's hard to say for sure if there's any truth to the legend.
Okay, so maybe the ghost story is just that, a story.
Right.
Did the police ever make any progress on the time capsule case?
They kept running into dead ends, unfortunately. Yeah, they tried tracking down former staff, teachers, hoping someone might remember, a student who could have written the note.
Right.
Some vaguely recalled, students who had problems. But after so long, memories get hazy.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing concrete came up.
It's got to be frustrating for them, right?
Yeah.
To have so little to work with.
Totally.
Is it even possible to solve a case like this after so much time?
It's a massive challenge, for sure.
Yeah.
Think about it. The evidence is limited.
Right.
The people involved, they could be gone. Their memories might not be reliable.
Yeah.
And, society was different back then.
Right.
It's like piecing together a puzzle where half the pieces are missing.
So does the case just go cold then?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is one new piece of information, one fresh lead to bring it back to life. And even if it never gets officially solved, the time capsule had a huge impact on Eastview.
You're talking about the mental health awareness thing?
Yeah, that seems to be the silver lining in all of this.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Finding that note, it sparked a town-wide conversation about mental health, something that was rarely talked about before.
Right.
People started to realize that behind the facade of their, seemingly perfect town, there could be people struggling silently.
Right.
Just like the note writer.
It's like the time capsule was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Forcing people to confront, some hard truths about their community.
Exactly. And that led to some pretty big changes, too.
Really? Like what?
Community leaders, mental health professionals, concerned citizens. They came together to create new resources, support systems.
That's great to see a community come together like that.
Yeah, it really is. One of the biggest things they did was start the Eastview Support Network.
Okay.
It's this group dedicated to providing mental health resources.
Right.
And creating a more open, understanding environment in town. They organize meetings, workshops, even social gatherings to give people safe spaces to talk about their struggles.
That sounds amazing.
They also worked with the school district to start mental health awareness programs for students and staff.
Right.
Providing resources, training to help people recognize signs of mental health issues and get help early on.
That's so important. Catching things early can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about creating a culture of prevention and support.
Yeah.
An environment where people feel comfortable speaking up, seeking help before it reaches a crisis point.
So it seems like Eastview has really changed since that time capsule note was found.
It really has.
It's gone from a town with these hidden struggles to a place where talking about mental health is encouraged.
It really shows how resilient the community is.
Yeah.
And how willing they are to learn from a tough experience.
Right.
They took a mystery, a potential tragedy even,
Yeah.
and turned it into something that created positive change.
They also turned it into an annual event, didn't they?
They did.
What was it called again?
the Time Capsule Dialogues.
Right.
It's a powerful event. Residents come together, share stories, discuss mental health challenges, and reaffirm their commitment to supporting one another. Basically, they took the anniversary of the time capsule discovery and turned it into this celebration of community and resilience.
That's beautiful. It's like they took something so negative and turned it into something positive.
Yeah.
Something that brings people together.
Exactly. The time capsule might have, unleashed a mystery.
Yeah.
But it also unleashed all this compassion and understanding.
Right.
That continues to affect the community.
Well, what about those theories about the symbols on the note? Did anyone ever crack the code?
The symbols, they're still a mystery.
Oh, wow.
Despite everyone's best efforts, sleuths, experts, you name it.
Really?
Online forums, social media groups.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about it, but no one could decipher them, for sure.
It's amazing how this one case caught the attention of so many people.
I know, right?
It went from, a local thing to this global phenomenon.
The internet played a huge role in that, for sure.
Yeah.
It gave people a platform to connect, share theories, work together, trying to solve the puzzle.
It's a good reminder that even today, with all our technology, we're still fascinated by mysteries.
Yeah, by the unknown.
We're always searching for answers, trying to make sense of things.
And sometimes, I think, the search is more important than finding a definitive answer. The Eastview time capsule mystery might never be fully solved, but it got people talking, raised awareness, inspired positive change.
So what's the takeaway from all of this? What can we learn from the Eastview time capsule?
I think it teaches us a few important things. First, it reminds us that every community, has its hidden stories, struggles that we might not see right away. Second, it shows us how important open communication is. And how important it is to create supportive environments. Places where people feel okay talking about their mental health.
And finally, it shows us that even a mystery that's never solved can have a huge impact. Leading to more understanding, more compassion, and positive change.
That's a great way to put it.
The
Eastview time capsule might not have a neat ending. But it left a legacy. Stronger community bonds. Increased awareness of mental health.
Well said. I'm ready to part 3. What else is there to uncover? So we've spent the last 2 parts digging into this Eastview time capsule mystery.
We have.
The note, those weird symbols, the dead ends, the town's incredible response. But there's still, so much we don't know.
There is. It really is like a puzzle with missing pieces. We get these glimpses of the past, but the full picture, it's still a mystery.
It's like whoever wrote that note just disappeared. Part of me wants to know exactly what happened to them, but another part thinks maybe it's better if we don't know.
That's interesting. Do you think knowing who they were, their whole story, would change how you feel about the case?
I don't know. Maybe it would bring some closure, but it could also take away some of the, the mystique,
I get that. There's a certain appeal to the unknown, right? It lets us, fill in the gaps with our own imaginations.
Exactly. In this case, it's definitely sparked a lot of that.
It has.
Theories about secret societies and ancient codes, even ghosts.
It really shows you the power of a good mystery, It makes us ask questions, makes us wonder. Makes us want to dig deeper, search for answers.
But sometimes those answers, they're just not there.
True. Sometimes the past just doesn't give up its secrets. And that's, I think, one of the biggest lessons here. That sometimes in life, you don't get those clean, easy answers. Sometimes you're left with questions, with ambiguity.
It's like the time capsule itself, right? Meant to be a snapshot of the past.
Right.
But what it showed us was way more complicated. All these tangled up emotions, secrets, and, like you said, unanswered questions.
It's fascinating to think, why would they use a time capsule? It's not like you get an instant reply. They were sending this message to the future with no guarantee anyone would ever see it.
It's almost like an act of faith, right?
Yeah, it is.
Putting their trust in the future. Hoping that someday someone would listen.
And, in a way, they succeeded. Their message did get out there. Might not have been who they expected. But it started a conversation. It raised awareness, inspired positive change.
It's funny, isn't it? They wanted to be heard, to be understood.
Yeah.
And Even though we might never know who they were or their whole story, their message had a huge impact.
It did.
Way bigger than they could have imagined.
Yeah. Their cry for help became this catalyst for a whole community to face its problems, to become more understanding and compassionate.
I like to think that wherever they are, they can feel those positive changes they started.
I hope so, too. And I hope our listeners really think about that as well.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that what we do, what we say, even what we don't say, can have a big impact on the people around us.
We might never know all the answers about the Eastview time capsule mystery.
True.
But maybe that's okay.
Maybe the real lesson is in the questions it raises.
Yeah.
The things it makes us think about, the conversations it starts.
Well said. The Eastview case, it reminds us that history, it's not just about, dates and events.
It's not.
It's about people.
Yeah.
Their stories and those hidden connections between us.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one last thought.
Okay.
What would you do if you found a message like that? A hidden plea for help from the past.
Would you ignore it?
Yeah.
Write it off as a joke?
Yeah.
Or would you feel like you had to investigate, try to understand what happened?
Right.
The choice is yours.
Yeah.
But remember, the past is never really gone. It's always there, whispering its secrets, waiting for someone to listen.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the Eastview time capsule mystery. It's a case that keeps fascinating people, reminding us that even in ordinary places, there are amazing stories waiting to be discovered.